Yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs, and the room is stutters. More once you discover. For all of the lovers, Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers, and Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers, and Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape. Every one of us, I was kinda late, cause I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the fate, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta focus on what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Hardy is on the air. Had to drop a couple bars just to make you all aware. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You know I go by Joe or the rest of the flow, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie Hardy, your Virgoat, your host, your creator, your writer for Daily DDT, your color commentator, and just your all-around vibey wrestling host. I am so happy to be before you after this crazy and amazing week that we've had in professional wrestling, but also personally for me because it was my birthday last Wednesday. I got to celebrate being alive for 31 years. I am so grateful and so blessed for everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I am so grateful for everyone who sent me messages and just sent me all of your love and your support on all over social media. I'm just really happy to be alive and just here and just surviving like my 30s. Like my first year in my 30s is in the books. And I learned a lot about reflection, about responsibility, about loving myself, and just so much in this first year of my 30s. And I just can't wait to get this new one started, chapter 31. It's really great. And I'm just really grateful. And I just wanted to come on here and say thank you because I haven't had a chance to really say thank you yet. So thank you for all of the love and all the support that was shown. And of course, thank you for supporting the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and all of its shows and iterations over the past 4 years and some change. And I just can't wait to continue to grow as a host, with you guys and talk about the ins and outs of professional wrestling. There has been so much to go on this week, and it was really insane because a part of me was trying to keep a low profile and just relax and enjoy my day and enjoy my week and my month for all of that it was worth. But there was so much going on in wrestling that I just had to come on and just talk about it. You just can't really leave yourself out of the conversation when it comes to stuff like that, especially when it comes to the thing that you've loved since you were a child. So there's still so much to discuss. So I'm so happy to be before all of you on this weekend, on this Sunday, where we've had so many announcements and just so much, to look forward to and to deal with. But I just wanted to take a minute to just be a goofball for a second and just start with this first.
What is it, the praise? I heard your
I I just had to start with that because this morning I woke up and found out Kendrick Lamar is headlining the Super Bowl halftime show next year, and I am so excited because he is like my favorite male rapper. At this point, like he's been my favorite male rapper for years. So to see him get to this point is just really amazing for me. So I just had to start with that. Actually, because it's my birthday, I'm just gonna do it.
What is it, the praise? I heard your
I'm sorry. Y'all probably came on here to hear me talk about wrestling, not music. But either way, y'all get the point. It's the vibes. I'm excited. Everything is amazing. So let's just go into news and gossipish, where we talk about the ins and outs of professional wrestling and all the news and gossip that we heard throughout the week. So Miss Ma'am, there are two amazing women that we do have to discuss in terms of wrestling, and that's Jacqueline, who is a Hall of Famer in WWE. Her and Lisa Marie Varon, who was also professionally known as Victoria in WWE, have both signed Legends contracts with WWE. And it was just so cool to see that happen for these two women. Now, of course, Double Take Sports reported that Jacqueline had signed a Legends contract with WWE, and she is the first Black woman to ever sign a Legends contract with them, and that she was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016. Now, of course, for those who may or may not remember, she is highly decorated. She is a two-time WWF Women's Champion, as well as the first female cruiserweight champion too, and she's had amazing matches with the likes of Trish Stratus and Jazz, as you can see, who she essentially opened the doors for in terms of her wrestling career. And she's a part of the amazing wrestling lineage of the state of Texas. So it's just really cool to see this history making woman, get her just due and get a Legends contract in WWE. Now, of course, we don't know exactly all of what that entails, but it's amazing to see that she's even continuing to make history with that. And the last time WWE fans saw her publicly, she was actually at a pay-per-view that WWE was having. I believe it was SummerSlam. So it was just really interesting to see her there. And now she's signed this contract. And then you also have Victoria, who had amazing rivalries with Trish Stratus and all of those women there during the Ruthless Aggression era, too. And it's just really great. Lisa Marie slash Victoria made a statement on Twitter and said that here it is, my big announcement. Earlier this week, I signed a WWE Legends contract, but she called it a nostalgic contract. I'm so excited and honored that WWE reached out to me about this. It's a true honor to be a part of the WWE universe again. This doesn't mean I'll be hopping back into the ring, but never say never. It does mean I will be included in future things like video games and maybe some new official merch. Big thank you to hashtag WWE and all my fans and supporters. I hope you are excited for this as I am. I definitely am excited because both of these women, Jacqueline and Victoria, built my women's wrestling fandom from an early age. So I am really excited to see them get their things. I do hope that though in the future that Jazz and Melina and so many other women who helped build up the Ruthless Aggression era during that time will get their things. But I'm pretty sure it'll happen in due time. But congratulations to these women because they definitely are trailblazers when it comes to women's wrestling. Also, in terms of women's wrestling news, Giselle Shaw, the quintessential diva, requested her release from TNA Wrestling. This was very surprising to me because she definitely was like a tentpole when it comes to the Knockouts division and everything that they were doing in the past few years. And she was definitely one of my favorites when it came to her rivalry with Trinity slash Naomi during her run there. And I just liked her attitude and I just liked her swag. And so hearing that she requested her release from there was just really surprising. Um, they granted it on the condition that she worked the Louisville tapings and put someone over on there. And of course, TNA was trying to work smoothly to grant the release, and they didn't put a fight about it. And she had been feuding with Tasha Steelz before she left. Now, the only thing that disappoints me about her TNA run is the fact that she was never Knockouts champion. And considering she makes history and represents a group of people that are sort of not really thought about a lot when it comes to wrestling in terms of the transgender community, it's just kind of like if she had become champion, that would have been amazing. That would have been an amazing look for TNA. So the idea that that never happened is definitely a missed opportunity because she's so talented. But hopefully this means that, since she's very hopeful about it, that she will wind up somewhere else in the future. She is scheduled to be at Scott D'Amore's Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling later this year, and she's expected to be a regular there. So big ups to Giselle Shaw and wherever it is that she's going to go next. I can't wait to see what that is, and hopefully she'll be a top champion at some point. But I also wanted her to be a part of the NXT and A things that were going on too, because because it would have been cool to see her get in the mix with some of the NXT girls. But of course, we still have Tasha Steelz, Rosemary, and so many other women that could get in the mix with NXT as well. But big ups to Giselle Shaw anyway, because she is so talented and so cool. So, yeah. Also, in news and gossipish, we have um a very disturbing story that came out of this week. Now, on Monday morning, it was announced via Twitter that Odyssey Jones was removed from the internal roster on WWE's website. And this kind of shook people because they were thinking, oh, well, maybe he got fired or maybe it was a technical issue. Because that's what I thought when I first saw it. I was like, maybe it's a technical issue because he's been on TV for the past couple of weeks. So it doesn't make sense for him to be off the website, right? Boy, was I wrong. As it turns out, Odyssey Jones has been reportedly quietly released from WWE due to him being attached to some domestic violence allegations. And these allegations are not unfounded because there was a woman who was attached to him, not saying, don't know if she's a girlfriend or a wife or just a significant other. She went on Twitter and started airing out dirty laundry and saying that he used to beat on her and tried to get her to keep it quiet, but she wasn't going out like that. And this was very shocking. And it came out as the day kept going on. And it was just like, whoa, this is ugly. It's very ugly. Because the one thing I know I cannot stand is if, and of course, these are allegations. So, this is alleged. But if you are hitting women or abusing women in any way, shape, or form, or just abusing people in any way, shape, or form, you do not deserve to have a platform for anything. I understand that this world is pretty corrupt when it comes to stuff like that. I know that there are people who are in power who think that they're above any accountability for their actions. But sweetheart, this is not that type of world. Like, you cannot continue to treat people like trash and think you're just going to automatically get away with it all the time. And when it comes to Odyssey Jones, it seems like all of those chickens came home to roost. And it's really crazy when you think about it, because at one point he was on NXT. He had participated in the breakout tournament, even though he lost to Carmelo Hayes in NXT before it changed over to 2.0 and all of that. And then he got injured for a while, and then he got better. And he was on TV for a minute, but then they took him off TV, and then he got back on TV with the New Day, to sort of start up this dissension between Xavier and Kofi, and now he's gone again. And that is just the worst ball to fumble. But hey, you do not get far treating people like trash. You really don't. Even when you think you've gotten that far, you still haven't gotten that far. And if Odyssey was out here beating on women, then I don't feel sorry for him at all. I don't. Because why is your anger that out of control that you have to hit somebody and hit somebody who, probably wouldn't even match up with you when it comes to hitting people? Like, that's just gross. Let's not hit people. Men don't hit women. Women don't hit men. Just don't hit your significant other, because that's not love. Pain is not love. And we do not support that here. So it's grand opening, grand closing for Odyssey. And we just got to see what happens from there when it comes to the New Day. But hey, goodbye. That's all I have to say about that. Now, moving on to even more crazier news that I heard about is the fact that there is a lawsuit being thrown at AEW and its CEO, Tony Khan, by three former talent in the form of Kevin Kelly, who you might know from commentary from Ring of Honor before it was purchased, and also from interview work from back in the day with WWE, and Brandon and Brent Tate, who were known as the Boys in AEW. They are bringing a lawsuit against AEW, and it was filed on August 30th in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Court of Common Pleas, and the attorneys are Stephen P. New and Benjamin Breyer, and they are seeking to void the arbitration clause of their talent contracts, as well as requesting the court certify a class action suit against AEW over claims that the company is misclassifying its wrestling talent as independent contractors rather than employees. And this tweet kind of goes on and on to say that the Tate brothers were released from their Ring of Honor contracts due to budget cuts, and that Tony Khan claimed during media events that their release was due to no showing several events, a claim the brothers deny, and that claim is now at the center of the defamation allegation by the Tate brothers. And then, of course, Kevin Kelly is seeking monetary damages because AEW breached his contract. So it's pretty huge, in the sense that this is, a huge, I guess to me, like it's a big deal when you have people who work for your company and they feel wronged. Now, mind you, I have never run a company. I can never say that because I've never owned a business, purchased a business, had employees, or anything else like that. But I do know, as a person who has a full-time job, I don't want to feel like I'm just being discarded and treated wrong. So maybe that's what's happening with these guys here in this lawsuit. I don't know, but I did think it was interesting how this came to play. Of course, these are the boys, Brendan and Brent Tate. Now, I'm not entirely sure how much attention, AEW itself is going to pay to it in terms of public knowledge, because of course they did just have All Out yesterday, and they're trying to sort of move away from the negative and focus more on the positive. But yeah, this happened during the week, and I just wanted to address it because it was there. So hopefully, the people who felt like they were wronged in that situation can get their things and feel like, they'll be, their rights will be, well, the rights will be, I'm sorry, their wrongs will be righted in this situation. So yeah, you hate to see it. That's the stuff that you hate to see. Also, in news and gossipage, we have the legendary Bret the Hitman Hart making an appearance on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, which will be the season premiere of Raw on USA during WWE week. And of course, this episode is going to be in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is Hart country. And it's just really cool that he's going to be there because, of course, once upon a time there was a beef he had, but now the beef is squashed and he's going to be on Raw in Canada, and that's just really cool. Canada has just been having an amazing year when it comes to professional wrestling as a whole, and I'm glad that Bret Hart is coming on there. It's rumored and highly speculated to be a Hart heavy episode between him and maybe Natalya being the partner to Lyra Valkyria and Zelina Vega in a 6-woman tag. So it's just really cool to see him being a part of the things. It's amazing. I feel like people tend to talk about him on social media just randomly for no reason. And this week it happened because people were talking about him and how much he loves Black women, and how his wife, whose name is also Stephanie, just so happens to be a Black woman too. So yeah, apparently the sisters really love Bret Hart. And I'm not gonna lie, he was kind of hot back in the day. But now he's in his, living his best life stages as, a retired elderly man, and he's just doing the best he can. And it's just really great to see him getting his flowers as he's here. So, because the Hearts have been through a lot, so it's good to see them, being happy and doing the things. So big ups to Bret Hart, and I can't wait to see him tomorrow. And in speaking more about controversial pieces of news, the trailer for the new docuseries Mr. McMahon came out, and it's going to be on Netflix, and it's going to start on September the 25th. It is executive produced by Bill Simmons, who primarily is known for his podcast work with Spotify and The Ringer. And it's also executive produced by Chris Smith, who executive produced the Tiger King documentary, for those who remember that phenomenon during the pandemic era. Basically, in the trailer, you could kind of see that in this documentary, they're talking about the beginnings of Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, and how he got started in the wrestling business, and how he came to grow power and to, revolutionize wrestling for what we know it as now. And then, of course, they're going to get into the nitty gritty of all of the negativity about his persona and how he might have treated women. And oh my God, this is going to be over the course of 6 episodes, and I am ready to watch this because I've been ready to watch this since they first announced it. But then I wasn't sure if they were going to still do it because of all of the allegations that came out. But seeing as new stuff is happening, Raw is moving to Netflix next year, and all of this is going on. I can't wait to see what they're going to talk about, and I hope that they do address what happened with a little bit of the lawsuit and also with everything else in a way that actually gives humanity and credit to the victims. And I just hope that a full story is told and that it's not just, oh, well, he revolutionized all of this, but then it's like you're sweeping all the bad stuff under the rug. Like, no, y'all need to tell the truth. Tell the full truth. But seeing as this is going to be 6 episodes, we about to have a time. So yeah, I'm pretty interested in seeing how this documentary is going to go. So yeah, it's coming on and it's going to be only on Netflix starting September 25th, and it's 6 episodes. So it's not just going to be one big documentary, it's 6 episodes. So be on the lookout if I decide to make content about it, but then I might just watch it. I might watch it and not do it, but then I might do content about it. I'm not entirely sure, but just be on the lookout for any announcements that I might make. And finally, we have news about Julia. Of course, Miss Julia has made her debut in NXT after so much speculation as to when she would come and who she would very well be wrestling against and all of the above. She has now staked her claim in NXT, and I'm going to talk more about it a little bit later. Fightful Select's Corey Brennan reported that WWE has big plans for Julia and Roxanne, which was dating all the way back to NXT Stand and Deliver this year when Julia was shown in the crowd prior to Perez's title win over Lyra Valkyria. Now, of course, that happened WrestleMania weekend. I was very fortunate to have seen that moment take place where everybody got crunk for Julia, including myself. I was yelling. And it was just really cool to see her have that moment before that historic match because, of course, Roxanne went on to become a 2-time NXT Women's Champion against Lyra. And it was just really cool to see her have that moment. It was really great. So now she's here in NXT and she has officially challenged Roxanne, and they will be fighting on the premiere episode of NXT on the CW. And I'm very crunk about that. And everybody's just really excited about her being there, and I'm really glad for it. But then you also have people online who are making it seem like she might have messed up her debut on NXT this past Tuesday because she hit Chelsea Green with a knee, and they tried to make it seem like she didn't hit it hard enough. And I'm just sitting here like, something that definitely irks me is that wrestling fans, because they've been watching wrestling for so long, feel like they have the right to tell wrestlers how to do their job. And it's annoying. It's really annoying. Like, I understand that we have this passion for this sport of ours, but at the same time, you have to be able to trust that these wrestlers know exactly what they're doing when they're trying to keep their other person safe. But then if she had hit her too hard, you would have complained that she hit her too hard. And I'm just going to need for us to chill a bit with telling wrestlers how to execute their moves and telling wrestlers how, oh, well, it should look like this or it should look like this. Because have you ever wrestled a match in your life? Like, have you ever wrestled a match on television in your life or even in front of people and it's not televised? Have you ever done that? I feel like wrestling fans who have never wrestled a day in their lives or never gotten a ring or taken a bump should not be telling these people how to do their jobs. They just shouldn't. And we shouldn't be doing that to Julia, who is about to make her debut and basically change the face of women's wrestling as we know it. Like, we shouldn't be doing that. We really need to chill with that. So, I believe that's all for news and gossipish. I'm excited for Julia to be there in NXT. I'm really pumped about it, and I just can't wait to see what her and Roxanne are going to cook up for this NXT Women's title. It's going to be some insane stuff, but I'm definitely here for it. So I'm really excited. So that is all for news and gossipish. And now we're going to move into what I liked in wrestling this week. And it's a lot that happened this week because there was a lot of pay-per-views and a lot of different things too. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention Trick Williams was on Wild and Out and their live tour on yesterday, and he was a team captain up there with Nick Cannon, Justina Valentine, and the entire crew and everything for Wild and Out Live. And I wish it was on TV, but I am glad that he got that opportunity to act a clown on a show like that. So I'm really excited for him that he got to do that. And he even brought Lash Legend along with him too. And this is
Hold on, Nick. Let me show you what a real man looks like. If you take off your pants,
come on, Trick. Come on, Trick. Yeah, Lash, get them together.
Yeah. I know what we doing? Wait. We taking off shirts. Fuck it.
Yep, Lash Legend, his lady love in real life was telling him, put your clothes back on. Put your clothes back on. Everybody ain't meant to see all that. Stop it. And I think that's funny, how some people in relationships, be like that sometimes. They just be playing with each other like, put that away. That's just for me, right? See, but here's the thing. If that was me and my man, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and look at him, ladies. Look at the man y'all can't have and gets to come home with me. That's the hot stuff we like. But I love Black Love, and I just love that they're popping out more with each other. They're super cute. I live for them as a couple. And if WWE and Hulu wants to do another reality show, then I feel like they are definitely top contenders to have Love and WWE Lash and Trick or something like that. But yeah, now that's really all for news and gossipish. And now we're really about to go into what I liked in wrestling this week. I just had to share that little tidbit. That was funny. So, of course, Bash in Berlin and NXT No Mercy happened this past weekend. And when I tell you, I absolutely enjoyed watching Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, the Terror Twins, destroy Liv Morgan, the Women's World Champion, and Dirty Dom. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it, okay? Because something that was just really funny for me is the fact that throughout this whole match, you had Liv and Dominic, playing mind games or whatever. And then on top of that, they tried to use the Judgment Day to cheat and get the best of them. But what's so funny is they still lost. They still lost, and Liv still wound up taking this amazing pin that Rhea Ripley decided to bring back for all of us crazy people and then lick her face. I was just like, excuse me, how in the world do you have everything that you have claimed to steal from Rhea Ripley and still lose? And I'm going to get more into it a little bit later. I just don't understand Liv. I don't understand her. And what makes it even funnier is the fact that when the Terror Twins were making their entrance at Bash in Berlin, Dirty Dominic and Liv were like sitting on the commentary desk, but right behind them, you had these fans holding up this giant sign that spelled out Rhea Ripley. And it was just the funniest thing on the planet. It was just like the script writes itself. It's just like no matter how much you try to steal from Rhea Ripley, you will just never have that woman's aura. You just won't. You won't have her aura. You won't have her strength. It's just everything that Rhea Ripley has is not external. It's very much internal, and it's just who she is in her aura and her power. And I just love that they lost the way that they did. But I'm gonna get more into that a little bit later. But I enjoyed that part of Bash in Berlin. And then, of course, I loved seeing Jade and Bianca come out on top and win their women's tag team titles back. I was so excited about this because, first of all, they came out there in that matching green looking like money, first of all. And second of all, they found a way to outsmart Isla Dawn and Alba Fire because those girls were giving them what for and all kinds of hell in that tag team match. And for a second, it was definitely looking kind of hopeless, like they weren't going to win. And I was going to be really sad, but they wound up battling back and using, their powers and not letting the unholy union separate them. And they won their titles. And I am so, so, so happy. I'm so happy. Like, I hope they remain champion for a longer period of time than they did the first time. And I hope that they beat Isla and Alba again because, they need to. They definitely need to just let these women know that they just need to stay in the back of the line and that um it's big three time, or in their case, big two time. So I was just so happy that they got their titles back. Like, it was a moment and I was really thrilled about that. Black women, yay! Yes. And then I, of course, enjoyed Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship. This, of course, opened up Bash in Berlin, and this was a really good match in the sense that they were telling a really great story here. It's the fact that Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are really good friends, but it was also like Kevin, because they were good friends, Kevin really knew everything that Cody was about to hit him with. It was just like, look, you're my best friend and I can call all of your moves and your plays in my sleep. I know how to, be on top of everything that you're about to do. And I loved seeing that throughout the match. But it was a great back and forth, and Cody wound up winning. And it low key looked like maybe Kevin was mad about it, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But either way, this was a really great match. It was very hard hitting, and you could tell that there was some hesitation from Kevin to go all out on Cody. But that was just to him telling the story of their friendship and him just not wanting to be the person that he had always been when it came to his friendships ending. Because every time he ended a friendship, he always hit them with a power bomb onto the apron of the ring. And he decided not to do that to Cody. So maybe Kevin Owens is a changed man. Maybe he just doesn't want to be evil no more. And that's okay because we've seen him end a lot of friendships and we've seen him apologize to a lot of folks, but mainly Kofi Kingston. But still, he just didn't want to be that person anymore. But I'm glad that Cody Rhodes is still the champion. And it seems like where he's moving on to in terms of facing Jacob Fatu is going to be really cool too. I did see that clip on online after SmackDown went off this past Friday. I slept on SmackDown because I was really tired. But either way, this match was really good. So I do recommend, if you have not watched it, to watch it because it's good. And of course, I love the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. The I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress match. And I just love watching CM Punk come not come into his, wrestling powers because he always had them. I just love seeing him prove people wrong because a lot of people made it seem like, oh, well, he's just injury prone and his body is weak and he's not meant to do this anymore. And it just seems like with every match he's had with Drew McIntyre so far, he has done nothing but prove all of the critics wrong. He got in here and gave Drew McIntyre at least 4 go to sleeps and lifted that big old heavy man on his shoulders. Like, excuse me, Drew McIntyre is a beefcake, okay? That's like lifting like 3 giant bags of hay on your shoulders, I imagine. And the idea that he was able to do it multiple times while whipping him down and touching all of the turnbuckles to win the match and all of that was just really insane. And just the idea that CM Punk won his first WWE match in 10 years, like, that is just unbelievable stuff right there. That's the stuff that can only happen in wrestling on a very serious note. Now, of course, we have more to discuss about their rivalry later on in the show, but this match was really great. Even though at one point I did feel like it wasn't enough whipping with the strap for me. it was still really good and it was really cool. So big ups to CM Punk for having that big moment for himself and for proving the doubters wrong. Like, yo, I might be older, but don't get it twisted. I can still wrestle. So it was cool. Now, moving on to NXT No Mercy. I feel like not enough good things have been fully said about Jada Parker and her performance against Roxanne Perez. Because, of course, Jada Parker has almost, if not already, completed her first full year of wrestling. Because of course she came from soccer and LSU, and she's been training in the performance center, and she's still relatively new to this sport. And for someone like her, with the athleticism and the attitude that she has in spades in comparison to Roxanne, who's been wrestling since she was essentially a baby, um, and for them to have had the match that they had, it's just unbelievable. And it's just really great. I'm just so proud of Jada Parker. And I know she tweeted a few days ago saying, I hope that I made y'all proud even though I lost. And I'm just like, girl, like, I know she doesn't know me from a can of paint, but she made me proud in that moment because she just did so good and proved that at some point she could very well carry, an NXT women's title or be the NXT women's North American champion at some point. Cause she just has everything already. Like if she just keeps working more and more, she will be a standout performer. I just really feel it. Like she will definitely be a standout performer real soon because she already has the attitude. She already has like the verbal jabs. Like she has it all together. And I just can't wait to see more of what she has to offer. But she did so good in this match. She definitely proved that she deserved to stand toe to toe with a Roxanne Perez. And Roxanne gave her hell, but Jada Parker gave her hell back. I love the part of the match where Roxanne was pretending to be Jada Parker and doing her dance or whatever. And then she tried to hit her with the hip check. And then she tried to knock her over, but then Jada Parker like caught her arms and was just like, you done effed up, right? You done effed up. You done effed up. And Roxanne was like, no, no. I thought that was perfect. It was perfect, and you could cut the tension with a knife. And I just really love that match. It was probably one of the matches of the night for me for NXT No Mercy. They did a phenomenal job. And I just can't wait to see more of what Jada Parker has to give because she's still really young. But for her to be this young in her wrestling career and to have grown the way that she has, it's just a testament to her hard work and for her passion for it. So I can't wait to see more of what she has to offer. But she did so good. So big ups to Jada Parker. You made me proud if you didn't make nobody else proud. So yes, you did good, girl. And then of course you had Julia popping up and her debut was insane. It was absolutely insane how she did it because Roxanne was celebrating having retained her title and then it got dark and I'm just like, "Oh my god, who is it now? What's going on?" And then it was Julia and I was like, "Oh, is her. She's so beautiful. That was the first thing that popped into my head when I saw Julia's face. I was just like, man, she's so beautiful with this hair and the makeup and all of the. She just looked amazing. The va va boom. She just has that aura, and I'm just so happy that she's here in NXT, and she gets to create more moments in wrestling. Because she's already made all kinds of moments throughout, Japanese wrestling and Joshi women's wrestling and all of that. So now she gets to be here and create even more classic matches that I'm more than sure will get her ranked somewhere. So I'm really excited about this. I'm just really wigging out. This is great. I'm gonna possibly go back and watch some matches that she has had um, in the past so I can just become more abreast of her style. But I am just really pumped about this. I really am. I'm so excited. I'm really excited. I feel like October can't get here fast enough because her versus Roxanne is going to feed families. And then, of course, we get to see her wrestle Tuesday against Chelsea Green. That's going to be cool too. But yeah, her and Roxanne is going to feed families. I'm excited. And then, of course, I have to give big ups to Zachary Wentz, who I predicted was going to win his match against Wesley because, of course, it's just the personal part of their brotherhood breaking up that just hurts you, right? But then on top of that, you have Wesley telling him, I'm a WWE superstar and you're just a TNA wrestler. And there's extra gravity to it because Zachary decided he was going to go on TNA Emergence and win the X Division Championship and then carry that same title that he just won that weekend to NXT No Mercy and be his friend or his former friend. That's crazy. He put TNA on his back, and actually so did Trey Miguel. They put TNA on their backs and represented. And when I tell you Zachary impressed me when he hit that UFO on Wesley at the end of the match, bruh, it's a thing of beauty. I almost passed out from how crazy that move looked on television. I was like, excuse me, Zachary? Zachary? What is this? What is this? It was so cool looking. I just could not deal with it. I was just like, that was insane. I was yelling. I was just like, yo, Zachary, what? And he won. And it was amazing. It was just so amazing. So big ups to Zachary for winning and putting TNA on his back and, just going on to better things, even though I feel like Wesley is somehow or another going to come back and try to ruin things for him and Trey Miguel when it comes to the NXT tag division. But either way, this match was fantastic and the ending was fantastic as well. Now if we could just get Gigi Dolan back, Zachary, go have a talk with your future wife. Tell her we miss her and come back, please. So that was amazing. That's all that I love from Bash in Berlin and NXT No Mercy. Now, moving into Raw from this week. Like I said, we got to talk more about how Miss Liv Morgan has all of the tools to get all of the upper hand over Rhea Ripley, but yet and still takes every L imaginable against this woman. So let me paint the picture. Monday Night Raw comes on. Rhea decides she wants to cut a promo, and bask in her victory, with Damian and whatnot. And then Dominic comes out there and starts talking trash. But of course, you can barely hear him because everybody's booing and all of these things. And then he basically lies and says that Liv isn't there. And that she's recovering from her injuries or whatnot. And so when he decides that he wants to get in Rhea's face and distract her, Liv wants to try to sneak up on her from behind. But tell me why, when she gets ready to sneak up on her from behind, Rhea elbows her in her face. I'm sorry. Are you not supposed to have the upper hand when you sneak somebody from behind and then you're essentially fighting 2-on-1 because Dominic was out there? And then it gets even worse because she trips up Rhea Ripley in the ropes and then injures her knee, and knocks her out for the night, presumably. And then she decides that she wants to kiss her on the cheek, just to get a little bit of revenge. And then what makes it worse is that during the tag team match that Damian had with Jey Uso against the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan tries to come out there, and then get the upper hand so the Judgment Day can win the match. But then Rhea comes out there anyway, crutch and all. And then Liv decides, oh, look at you. I took your leg. I took your leg. I took your leg. I took your man. I took this. I took your family. But in all of you, in the idea that Liv is bragging about everything you took from Rhea takes the crutch and starts beating Liv with it. By all accounts, Rhea is crippled, technically. And you're still getting your butt whooped? Liv takes more L's than her name. Because, sweetheart, there is no reason, like I said earlier, for you to have everything, have supposedly taken everything from Rhea, And yet you still consistently take L's. You lost at Bash in Berlin Saturday. You get elbowed when you try to sneak up on her from behind. You get beat up with a crutch when Rhea is technically crippled. Do you not know how to take L's? Like, do you not know how to get any wins? It's just unbelievable how many L's Liv took within the span of 72 hours. And you supposedly have everything that Rhea had. Like, you took everything from her. You took her title, you took her leg, you took her man, you took her family. But yet somehow or another, she keeps taking wins from you. She's beating you in all the ways that actually matter. And I think that's really eating at you a bit. The fact that you've taken everything from her but her pride, but her strength, but her aura. And girl, it's still not working. Liv, you just might need to hang it up. Hang it up, girl. Just hang it up. But I just had to talk about that because that was just insane to look at multiple times. I was like, girl, you keep losing. You keep losing. It's hilarious. But we're gonna move on. We're definitely gonna move on. I did that work or did that skip a picture? Hold on a second. I'm trying to see. Okay, so no, it didn't skip a picture. I'm sorry, y'all. Maxine Dupree of the Alpha Academy continues to grow in wrestling by leaps and bounds. And when she had the 6-person tag against American Made, and she was actually going ham on Ivy Nile before Ivy choked her out, I was so happy about it. I was just like, excuse me. She was hitting backflips, she was hitting the worm, like she even hit a couple of suplexes here and there. Maxine is really growing into her athleticism as a wrestler, and I love that for her because I've been waiting for her to pop out of her shell more and more since Becky Lynch gave her that pep talk before she won the women's world title in that battle royal. Like, I've been waiting for Maxine to really come into herself, and she really is doing that more and more. And I'm just so happy for her in that regard because a lot of people were giving her a hard time as she was growing. Um, Online and whatnot. Here again, fans stepping out of bounds and telling wrestlers how to do their job. Stop. Um, but yeah, she was really amazing this past Monday, and she just continues to just grow more and more. And I'm just really happy for Maxine, and I can't wait. I can't wait for her to actually really like lock in and win some matches. Like, it'll be insane. But she just pumps me up from just seeing how excited she gets when she wins matches or when she participates in matches anyway. So yeah, Maxine did good. She's continuing to just do good, and I just love watching her do it. And then we have Zelina Vega, my girl, my love, my queen from Queens. She came out with this beautiful outfit with these red flowers on them, which I know in anime means something very sinister. I'm not gonna try and quote what that means because I'm not gonna pretend to know all of it, but I do know that it means something sinister and something, crazy. And she did do a good job in her match versus Shayna Baszler, and I hate that she lost. Because they said listed some sort of stat saying that it was her, I believe, her 50th singles match in WWE, but I am really excited for her in that regard. But I do want her to start winning more as a single star, since she's busting out and wrestling a whole lot more. I just feel like she just has what it takes to be a top star at some point. And I feel like between her and Mia Yim and also Chelsea Green, there needs to be a women's mid-card title. And I already wrote about it on my Daily DDT article. Please read it if you haven't. And those are really 3 top contenders for that if they decide to create it. But I just don't want them to keep fighting for just air and for pride and all of that stuff. Like, I want them to be on top and be champions and be workhorse, champions, the way that so many other champions are in terms of the men's division. And Zelina is definitely one of those girls. And she also had a very sentimental moment before her match. There was a fan who created a sign, and I know you could probably barely see it because of the picture. But the sign had her father's name on it. It said, Michael Trinidad has the best seat in the house. 9/11/01, never forget. And for those who don't know, Zelina Vega, her father Michael Trinidad was killed in 9/11 in the Twin Towers. And she has said multiple times that her and her father share great moments as wrestling fans together, and that she always promised him, that she would, go on to succeed and do great things for him, after he passed away and all of that. And she promised him multiple times, like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to wrestle. And the idea that a fan thought enough of her to make this sign was just unbelievable. So big ups to whoever made that sign, whoever you are. That was beautiful and very thoughtful. And it made her visibly emotional, but of course, she had to get herself together because she had a match. But it was just so beautiful, in terms of that sentimentality, because it it's a very painful thing to lose a parent. I've never lost a parent, but I've seen people who have, and it takes a lot out of you, and it never gets easier. Even the older you get, it never gets easier. But at the same time, to see someone like Zelina have gone through something like that, and to see her grow and make her dreams come true the way that she has, it's just been a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I hope that her father is watching and that he is very proud of her. And I hope that one day she will be on top. I'm still pushing for it. Her hashtag push Zelina continues to be viral every day. And hopefully, we'll see more results from that. So I love Zelina Vega here. I always will. She'll always have my support. And I'm just really happy that um, she had this moment here. It was just really sweet. Big ups to that fan. And then another thing, in terms of the men that happened on Raw, Drew McIntyre tried to commit murder. I feel like this week was an insane week for wrestling in terms of wrestlers trying to kill other wrestlers that they hate. And and Drew McIntyre really started it off because CM Punk was out there celebrating the fact that he won his strap match against Drew. He was standing on top of the commentary desk, and then all of a sudden we see a hooded figure attack him. But we knew who it was because, of course, with the jacket open, we saw those abs. And it was Drew McIntyre's abs, and he proceeds to attack him, break the actual bracelet, and choke him out with it. And it was just like, oh my God, he's trying to kill him. He's trying to choke him. CM Punk was bleeding out of his throat. It was very scary. It was just insane. He kept attacking him even when he was on the paramedic stretcher. It was bad. So because this attack has gotten really bad, I'm hoping that at Bad Blood, they'll put them in Hell in a Cell. I'm really hoping for that. I am seriously hoping for a Hell in a Cell match between Punk and McIntyre and Liv and Rhea, because it's just gone too far at this point. It's too far, and they just need to just end each other, and that's the best way to end your person is in Hell in a Cell. Um, so yeah, I'm excited about this. I hope CM Punk comes back and says, "I want you in Hell in a Cell, you mother effer," but it's gonna be okay. Um, it's gonna be cool, but this was very strange to watch. And then another thing I liked from Raw was the fact that Sami Zayn decided to challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. Because, of course, if you may or may not remember, because wrestling months feels like a whole year in wrestling time, Sami Zayn is the only person to defeat Gunther in one-on-one action. He beat him for the Intercontinental title, but after he lost it to Braun Breaker, he's been trying to get himself together lately and figure out what's next for him, right? So he decides that he wants to come after Gunther for the title. And Gunther was low-key playing around with him and saying that he didn't want to fight him. And Sammy told him, look, the only reason you're ducking me is because you know I'm the only person to ever truly defeat you. And he's right. He's absolutely right about that. But the thing I love the most about this is just Sami Zayn shooting his shot for the big one. And that's something that has frustrated me since he's been called up to the main roster, is the fact that Sami Zayn has never won the big one. And the last time he had a chance to win the big one in his home country, he lost because it was during Roman Reigns' Raw of Terror. But he's never won the big one. He's been an NXT champion before. And a lot of people who knew him, from the Ring of Honor days and from the indies and stuff, really hoped that he would, wind up on top as well, especially since his best friend Kevin Owens wound up on top as well. But that hasn't happened for him yet. So if he were to actually beat Gunther for that title, it would be sick. And it would be an incredible accomplishment for someone like him. He would be the perfect workhorse champion for that. But because Gunther is Gunther, I don't know. And because the ante has been upped, I don't know. But either way, I'm glad that Sammy is throwing his hat in the ring. I'm really glad that he is. But there was something else interesting that took place with Gunther this night as well, but I'll get into that a little bit later. I just loved watching Jay, Rhea, and Damian yeet together after winning their tag team match. And I just want to say I was 100% right in April when I said that it would be cool if Jay and Rhea were a couple. And some of y'all online thought that that was the worst idea ever. Well, here it is. Manifested. Y'all don't stop playing with me. But either way, I am so happy that we're getting this possible new couple content because Rhea clearly deserves better. And Jay defended her honor against Braun Breaker on Raw as well. And I just can't wait to see it because I'm a romantic. I can't. I just can't wait to see it blossom into a relationship that's just gonna be cute. Ah! I can't wait. I can't wait. But watching them yeet together was fun. I loved it. But speaking of Gunther, he had a little bit of an encounter with Kofi Kingston, right? And of course, we talked about the Odyssey Jones situation. Now, a lot of people were probably under the impression that maybe the whole New Day dissension story would be over with, right? But I'm going to sit here and tell you it's not over because when this shot came on between Kofi Kingston and Adam Pearce, he was negotiating having a tag team title match with the Judgment Day for him and Xavier. But the key part about this is the fact that Xavier was not present for that, which might possibly mean that Kofi did not talk to Xavier about this tag team title opportunity. Also, there's a second clue to go along with this. Kofi Kingston in this shot, you can't see it. He had on a gold Majin symbol necklace. I know this because my boyfriend has the exact same necklace. Because in the moment when I saw the necklace, I was like, wait, that's Jock's necklace. But it's a purpose behind it. Because for those who know Dragon Ball Z lore, the Majin symbol is a sign of evil. It's basically like you're trading your soul for all power and evil, essentially. And for Kofi to be wearing that symbol is very dastardly. And then on top of that, you have him having this encounter with Gunther, who is the world heavyweight champion. And Kofi has not had an opportunity to be a big champion since the last time he won with Kofi Mania and all that. I feel like all of this is going to tie in somehow with the dissension that the New Day is having. Then on top of that, Xavier Woods' birthday was Wednesday, just like mine. He and I have the same birthday. And Xavier made a post talking about how happy it was his birthday and how he's grateful for friends who weren't late in wishing him a happy birthday. Then you fast forward to the next day, Kofi makes his post saying happy birthday to Xavier with these low quality pictures of him. And none of the pictures are them together in a picture. So this story is definitely still going to be a thing, but it's not going to have Odyssey Jones in the middle of it. And I'm more than sure that if Kofi is going to be the one to go bad, he's going to go after Singles Gold and he's going to go after Gunther. And it's going to be insane and it's going to be crazy. Or Xavier might turn on him. But I do feel it interesting. I find it interesting that Kofi was the one wearing the Majin symbol. And I know y'all might think it's crazy, but it's a level of storytelling that works if you watch television and know pop culture a little bit too hard, like I do. It makes sense. So I know that sounded like a conspiracy theory, but it makes sense. Everything in wrestling at this point makes sense. And it's going to make sense. I promise it's going to make sense. But yo, this played with my mind and I loved it. So it's going to be a movie. So, yeah. And then he tweeted this as well. He tweeted the Majin symbol on Super Saiyan Vegeta's head. This was Monday. Clock it. Clock it. Now, moving on to NXT. I love the fact that Tatum Paxley and Lyra Valkyria are friends again. This was something that I was not expecting because Lyra had been on Raw and stuff, and she is preparing for her match with Zelina Vega against the Pure Fusion Collective next week. But I was not expecting her to pop up back on NXT again and fight for the fight for Tatum Paxley against Wendy Chu and Rosemary. I was not expecting that at all, but it was a great surprise and I loved it. And the thing that I love the most about Tatum Paxley's match against Wendy Chu is the fact that you could see all of Daphne's influence in that, and it was just definitely giving Daphne's daughters. And for those who might not know who Daphne is, I suggest you Google her. She was an amazing female wrestler who was ahead of her time. And she's sadly no longer with us. This week actually marked, I think maybe 3 or 4 years since she's passed. So we definitely send thoughts and healing to her friends, having to deal with that situation. But her influence is definitely still felt throughout, and it was definitely giving that throughout this match. But yeah, I was happy to see them be friends again, and the fact that Lyra was carrying her out like a bride was just really funny. So it was cute. I loved it. And then I also love that Jada Parker actually beat Jasmine Nix um, after the little encounter that she had with the fatal influence. But then they jumped her afterward and beat up on her even as she was injured, and I was just really irritated by that. So that means that Jada Parker's gonna have to get some friends. Now she did low key try to recruit Meechin on Twitter, but of course we got to see how that turns out. But I was glad that Jada still looked strong even after her defeat um against Roxanne Perez for the title. So it was still really good, and I appreciated that. And then, of course, Julia went face to face with her, with Roxanne, and challenged her for the title at NXT on the CW in October. So I talked a lot about that in News and Gossipish, but either way, this is exciting stuff, and I'm just here for it. Women's wrestling is at its peak right now, and I love it. Now, now, I got to sit here and talk about what this grown man said. The NXT North American champion Oba Femi, the ruler, defeated Tony D'Angelo at NXT No Mercy for the title. And he had to fight harder than he normally has to fight, to retain the title. It was pretty crazy. But Tony D'Angelo is really good, and he actually matched up with him in terms of strength, and it was cool. But Oba and Tony D'Angelo don't seem to be finished with each other. And Oba actually confronted the D'Angelo family backstage on NXT. And he said something to Adriana Rizzo that really made me mad. He literally said to her after she spoke her piece and said, in my culture, or I think, or in some cultures, I'm just paraphrasing, the woman is meant to be seen and not heard. And of course, that insulted her. The D'Angelo family didn't like that. And Stax went out there to fight Oba Femi, for Adriana Rizzo's honor. And I appreciated that. But I did not like that Oba Femi said that. And of course, there were people on social media who were calling me sensitive and saying, so what? He's a heel, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I still didn't like it because I feel like saying something like that to a woman who is actually standing up to you is weak. It is absolutely weak. because that just goes to show you that you and your fragile ego cannot stand the fact that a woman is standing up to you in the way that a man would, and you just can't stand it. Number two, in 2024, men should not be saying that to women, especially in NXT, where a woman is the general manager and basically calling all the shots, and the women are essentially the main attraction on that show most of the time and are main eventing most of the episodes a lot of the time anyway. So, sweetheart, the fact that whoever wrote that for him to say, or if he thought of himself of saying that, y'all should have just kept that in the chamber and just never shot it off. It's 2024. Women can say and do whatever the hell we damn well please. And I'm so sorry I'm cursing, but that's just how passionate I feel about it. We literally have a woman running for president right now. How in the world can you sit here and say, "Oh, well, some women are meant to be seen and not heard"? What the F is wrong with you? Like, that just made me so upset, because that gives off the impression that only women are meant to be looked at as pretty things or looked at as attractive things and not meant to be heard, because what we say isn't intelligent enough and isn't direct enough for you to want to listen to. No, baby, that's not how any of this works. And if anybody has a problem with me saying this, then well, you can keep it. I don't care. We're all grown. I'm 31 now. We're not going to do this. So, no, I didn't like it. I did not like it, and it just makes no sense. Women have come too far in wrestling and in the world, period, for you to even be saying stuff like that. And I understand it's scripted, and I do understand that he's a heel. I know how characters work. I know this, but I still didn't like it. And yeah, he was doing his job to get a reaction out of me. I get that. I know that's part of the game, but I still didn't like it. I'm a female viewer. Find something else to say. Anyway, moving on. Something else that I did like in NXT with the men is the fact that Ashanti the Adonis and Eddie Thorpe are fighting and beefing with each other because Eddie Thorpe just likes being friends with women, and Ashanti the Adonis doesn't understand because he is always constantly trying to holler at women for the romantic side, and it's hilarious because there are men like this in real life who feel like they just can't be friends with women, and it's just so sad. Like, it's really sad. Like, I feel like you don't have to always try to get something out of a woman. Like, you can literally just talk to a woman as just a friend or as just a person, and it's okay. And the fact that Ashanti is mad at Eddie Thorpe for just not pursuing things with women, it's just hilarious to me. So I can't wait to see where this goes. But either way, I just think it's really funny how this is taking place. But it's still a very realistic story nonetheless. It's very realistic because there are men out there who really feel like they can't be in the company of a woman without trying to holler at them. And it's just like, sweetheart, find something else to do. But yeah, I think it's cool. Now, to AEW and murder and and criminal acts. On Wednesday, I wasn't watching Dynamite because I was out for my birthday. And it's amazing looking at wrestling from a social media perspective when you're not watching it live on television. And of course, earlier in the day, they showed how Swerve Strickland bought his childhood home. And of course, he was standing there with Prince Nana, and he talked about what it meant for him and his family and all of the above. And that was a really sweet sentiment, a nice little, clip that they showed during the show and even before the show even came on online and stuff, right? So all of this niceness just goes out the window when you see Hangman Adam Page burn the house down. Now, from my perspective, I was out and I was at a bar and I saw a house on fire and I was just like, what's going on Dynamite? What is happening? And then I saw that it was Hangman burning down Swerve's house and I was like, oh my God. The things that happen when I don't watch. This is a running joke that I have. I just feel like crazier things tend to happen when I don't watch wrestling. Like, it's just insane how this man took some gas and burned his house down, which of course led to them having the match that they had yesterday in a steel cage and was lights out. And they were trying to kill each other with needles and all the things. Like, they just hate each other real bad. And oh my God. just this image, just I feel like this image is definitely going to live forever in wrestling history. If there's ever going to be a wrestling history book written about the past 30 years, this picture is going to make it. It's definitely going to make it because it's just iconic looking. And then Keeks, shout out to her, All Elite Keeks tweeted and said, I wonder if he was drinking Sir Davis. That's Beyonce's new whiskey that she put out on our birthday. And I said, look, if I can't drink it tonight, then he can't drink it. So that was funny. But either way, we're burning down houses in 2024. We're burning down houses. If you don't like a person, we're committing arson. Apparently, that's the lesson that we're learning this week. But either way, it was funny. And then another thing I liked from wrestling this week is the fact that Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovic decided to show up on TNA and answer the open challenge that Jordan Grace has been having for the TNA Knockouts title. She did a great job, and even Jordan Grace went on Twitter and talked about how amazing she is and how in the next few years how she's going to be a problem. And I'm really happy for her in that regard. So of course, you know, she might not have won, but at least she had the great opportunity of doing so and exposing herself to a new audience. So big ups to Carmen Petrovic for that. And big ups to Ariana Grace for being a complete clown that she is and doing her thing. So I really enjoyed these two popping up on TNA. And then, of course, Friday was the final SmackDown on Fox. And they made a big to do out of it, making clips and talking about the best moments that have happened since SmackDown moved over to Fox and everything. And it's crazy to think that it's been 5 years, but yeah, and it really has been 5 years since they did that. And of course, they're moving to USA. This coming week in Seattle, Washington. And it's just really interesting to think about all the moments that happened from Roman Reigns going from being covered with dog food by King Corbin to becoming the tribal chief to Bayley and Mercedes / Sasha being the golden role models and her, you know, and Bayley even turning heel on this iteration of SmackDown. Like, there's just been lots of amazing moments here. So the idea that it's no longer going to be on Fox is just really crazy. And then you have the social media component of it as well, because WWE on Fox's social media have been hitting on a lot of culturally relevant things and comparing it to wrestling a lot. And it was very enjoyable. But now it's over. It's over. It's an era that's ending. This September is a huge season of change, of radical change at that. So I do and am happy, you know, that it's moving, but we had lots of good moments on Fox, and it's just going to be really cool for it to change over to USA, and we're going to get lots of wrestling on USA until, of course, Raw moves to Netflix next year. So yeah, we just get to watch wrestling on one channel until then NXT moves to CW. So it's just a lot of change happening this fall. But we live for it. That's what wrestling is all about. It's all about the things that make us feel at home, and it's all about the changes that happen and being able to adapt to them. So it's good stuff. And that's pretty much all I liked in wrestling this week. So, of course, we're moving into the end of our time together. So, of course, if you have not already, watch Steph and Cat Talk Wow, a show that I co host with my friend and tag team partner, Katrina from In Cat We Trust, where we talk about the ins and outs of WoW superheroes. We're doing a double dose episode this week because last Wednesday was my birthday and I wanted to celebrate it. So, we're going to be talking about the last 2 episodes of season 2 because season 3 is getting started real soon. So I'm really excited about that. So if you have not watched any of our episodes of Steph and Cat Talk Wow, please do so and watch all of our interviews that we have done from this past season with a lot of the WoW superheroes and those formerly with WoW as well. We love working with them and we love, you know, showing them love on social media. It's really great. So please watch Steph and Cat Talk Wow and watch WoW superheroes and support women's wrestling of all facets on all shows. It's really great. And of course, if you're looking for a host, or if you're looking for a guest for your podcast, a color commentator, or a panelist for your convention or anything else wrestling related you've got going on, just contact me, your girl Stephanie Hardy. You can DM me on Instagram or on X at Queen Steph Hardy, or you can email me at hardywrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Here are all the places where I have appeared lately, even though I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to update it really soon because I did make some other appearances this year too. So please be on the lookout for wherever your girl is set to be, because you just never know where I might pop up. But just book your girl, book your girl, book your girl. I just want to keep the work going because I'm very passionate about what I do, as you can hear, and I just can't wait to share my voice in other places for the rest of the year. So book your girl. Also, check out my articles on Daily DDT as I continue to grow as an editorial writer for them. And thank you always to Rafael Garcia for editing my work and for letting me get my crazy ideas out there. My latest work is my article on why WWE needs women's mid card titles. Please check that out and read all of my reasons why. And of course, just don't hesitate to share it if you see me share it anywhere, and just read it and just check it out, as well as my other articles. It's coming up on my Daily DDT anniversary. So, just read the articles and just check me out as I continue to grow as a wrestling writer. I love putting my ideas out there. So just read my stuff. Also, please buy my merchandise at foryourwear.com. That's FORURWEAR.com/Hardy Wrestling Podcast, where you can purchase the Alabama Wrestling t-shirt, which pays tribute to wrestling icons from the state of Alabama, just like me. Available in the colors of red and black. You can also get it for hoodie season as well. We have them available in all sizes. The weather is starting to change a bit, so you can get a hoodie, and you can get a short sleeve shirt if that's your persuasion. And you can wear this unique shirt that has unique trivia on it. I love designing it with my boyfriend. So please buy that shirt, as well as buy my Bianca and Montez t-shirt, which celebrates the love of Bianca and Montez. And I call them Beyonces, even though they actually have a different name for their ship. Beyonces is the one that I made up. So yeah, you can buy that shirt in every size, as well as my Bold and the Bloodline t-shirt too. So maybe I'll create more merch, but we just, those are just the ones that I'm selling right now. So just buy my merch at foryourwear.com. And of course, thank you so much for joining me live for this show. And of course, if you weren't able to watch it live, you can watch it later on the Hardy Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel, and you can subscribe. We're trying to get those subscribers up. So subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing or if you like what you're watching. And also just subscribe. Well, not subscribe, but follow me on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at Hardy WrestlePod, so you won't miss a thing. I also try to live tweet as much as I can as well. So be on the lookout for that. And just continue to just support your girl in her wrestling endeavors. And also as I figure it out, because I have a job and I'm trying to figure out all the scheduling now. But either way, just continue to support your girl as she continues with her wrestling life. And continue to support HWP and all of its iterations. So, of course, this has been the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl, Stephanie Hardy, her, the Virgo. And until next time, bye, y'all.